What's happening, guys? Welcome back to the Whiskey Shed on this rainy night in Ireland. Now, there's going to be a little bit of rain noise in this video. There's not much I can do about it. It is Ireland after all, and I can't change the weather. Now, in this video, we're going to be checking out a bourbon, so we're jumping back across the pond. Although this is a predominantly Irish whiskey channel, I like to throw a bourbon or a scotch in every now and again for good measure, and why not? So without further ado, let's jump in and look at it. Okay, so we're checking out a bottle of Eagle Rare Kentucky Straight Bourbon whiskey in this video, and as always, a little bit about the bottle of the whiskey before we jump into the nosing and tasting of it. Now, I'm always on shaky ground history-wise once I jump outside of Ireland, so a little bit of research I've done on this. I'll give you a few facts and then we jump into the nosing and tasting. So, Eagle Rare is produced by Buffalo Trace at the Buffalo Trace Distillery, and Buffalo Trace Distillery is owned by the Sazerac Group. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Now, the distillery was formerly known as the George T. Stagg Distillery and the Old Fashioned Copper Distillery, and the company claim it's the oldest or the longest licensed operating distillery in the United States. Now, I don't know if that's true or not. You guys can let me know in the comments, but from my research, that is exactly what they claim. Eagle Rare was introduced in 1975, but Buffalo Trace, the whiskey or the bourbon, wasn't introduced until 1999, I believe, even though the distillery was called Buffalo Trace, and they call it Buffalo Trace after an area where the buffalo crossed a certain river in Kentucky, as far as I understand. And if you guys know that exact area, get in the comments and let me know. Educate this Irishman on what's happening in Kentucky. But that's a few little facts about it. Eagle Rare, produced by Buffalo Trace at the Buffalo Trace Distillery, and apparently it's the longest licensed operating distillery in the United States, from my research. So let's jump in, nose and taste it. Okay, let's get some of this bourbon in the glass. And do we have a cork pop? Yes, we do. Okay, on with the nosing and tasting, and the rain just will not give me a break, so we got a motor on. Now, what have we got here? Like I said, it's Eagle Rare. It's a 10-year-old Kentucky Straight Bourbon. Now, 10 years old is a pretty good age for a bourbon. Those hot summer months tend to age the whiskey much quicker, so you can really get strong flavours from a bourbon after 3 and 4 years. Unlike an Irish whiskey, which takes forever because we don't get the heat. Sometimes we get a good summer, but for most of the year, it's pretty cool here in Ireland, so it takes a long time for Irish whiskey to come around. But bourbon can happen, really nice bourbons can come about in 3 to 4 years. So like I said, a 10-year-old bourbon is a good age for a bourbon. It's 45% alcohol by volume, or 45 ABV, 90 proof. And I'm not sure the exact mash bill. It says on the site it's mash bill number 1. Now, I do know in order for a bourbon to be called a bourbon, it must be produced in the United States, and it has to have 51% corn or more in the mash bill. So it will have corn in it. It has 10% less rye, it says, but 10% down from what, I'm not exactly sure. So if you guys know the answer to that, let me know in the comments. So let's get nosing and tasting. So on the nose. So the first thing I got from this whiskey, and when I opened the bottle, there's a slight little acetone note. Now, when I get acetone, sometimes it's, oh no, not here we go again. I got it from Kilbeggan and it never went away, and I really didn't like the Kilbeggan Irish whiskey. But this, happy to say, let it breathe for a few minutes and it completely disappears. It becomes more like almonds. Now, one big note I get up front, and I can even smell it by leaving a glass down here, is orange peel. It really jumps out to me. There's a little bit of spice to it and a little bit of herbal note to it. You always get that herbal note from rye. I did the Kilbeggan rye Irish whiskey, and it was like herbal tea. There's a little hint of that in here, so not as strong or as pronounced, so there's a little bit of herbs. Kind of a honeyed sweetness. It is a sweetness that you do get from this bourbon. It is pretty sweet. I always find from bourbons it's kind of like a honey or a candied sweetness. You get it from the corn in the mash bill. But yeah, once the acetone note dies down, it's orange peel, a little bit of herbs, a bit of oak, and a nice candied or honeyed sweetness. So quite a pleasant nose all in all. Now on the palate. Yeah, I really like this. I could sip on this all evening. It's in around 44 euros you can pick it up here, which is pretty good for a 10-year-old whiskey in Ireland, because we live in any state and alcohol has got extremely expensive in Ireland. But 44 euros for this is pretty nice. So on the palate, again, it's a sweet whiskey. It's not overly sweet. It has some dark kind of oaky kind of tannins to it. It has a really kind of tongue coating feel. It kind of coats the whole of your mouth. It is a little bit dry, so if you like that kind of dryness to your whiskey, you will like this. And it has that nice kind of herbal and a little bit of spice, maybe a little bit of cinnamon in there too. And it lingers with a nice sweet note on the back of the tongue. And it does linger. It has a kind of a strong finish. Like I said, it is kind of dry. It does kind of coat your whole mouth. It is that type of whiskey, but very pleasant all in all. So, sum up the palate, nice candied sweetness, herbal notes are all there. A little bit of oakiness, because some of those tannins are there, that kind of dryness that you get from some of these whiskies. It's not over oaked, which can happen with some bourbons, because again, that heat, the virgin oak, the hot weather in the summer, you can get over oaked, especially when they're 10 years. But yeah, this is pretty nice. It's not overly complex, but there's some lovely flavours there. Now I'm going to leave it on its side for 10 minutes, let it open up. You don't get that acetone note on the palate, which is great. Maybe a little hint of candied almonds could be there, something like that. Like I said, I always find that that acetone note kind of turns into like marzipan or almonds once you let it open up for a bit. So let's let that open up and see what else we get from it. Okay, so we've let it sit on its side for about 10 minutes, let it open up and see what else we can get from it. So on the nose. The acetone note is now completely gone, so definitely let this whiskey breathe. Give it a few minutes before you go at it. Even I'd say when you get down past the neck, past the shoulder of the bottle, it will start getting better. That acetone note will start to fade. It's completely gone now. Now it's all oranges and orange peel, herbal tea, and a candied sweetness. This definitely is a sweet whiskey. It's not overly sweet, like I said, but it's definitely, I would put it in a sweet category. So yeah, it's lovely. It's all orange peel, herbal tea, and a lovely candied sweetness. So on the palate. Much more of the oak now, much more of those tannins. It does really have a dry finish, this. Like I said, if you like a dry whiskey finish, even when I was standing there for the last 10 minutes, my mouth was still dry after tasting this. Think about when you put sloes in your mouth and they dry up your whole mouth. It kind of does that. Not to as the same effect, but that kind of idea. But yeah, that candy sweetness is still there. Some herbal, maybe cinnamon notes on the palate. Definitely a big hit of oak and tannin there now I'm getting. And a really dry finish that does linger. So all in all, very, very pleasant. Yeah, not too bad if I do say so myself. Okay guys, so there we go. That has been my review or opinion for what it's worth on Eagle Rare Kentucky Straight Bourbon from Buffalo Trace. Now, one thing I do notice is that the age statement has gone to the back of the bottle. So it says aged 10 years here. It used to say it up on the neck, if I remember correctly. The only thing that worries me about that is this could be becoming a non-age statement whiskey. Usually when they move the age statement to the back of the bottle, it's about to disappear off the bottle altogether, and you pick it up, oh, you don't notice that it's gone from it. So it's at the minute it's aged 10 years. That will mean that the youngest barrel that's in this is 10 years old. Now it also used to say single barrel, but from what I understand, it's no longer hand-filled bottles, it's machine-filled, so it's all done on a processing plant. So you can't guarantee that it all comes from one barrel, so they had to remove that from the bottle. But all in all, very, very nice. I do like it. Again, I spent 44 euros on that. That's what it cost me here in Ireland. Whiskey is quite expensive in Ireland. I'm not sure. I've heard it somewhere between $30, something like that in the States, which is really good for a 10-year-old bourbon, in my opinion. It's not overly complex, but it does have strong flavours. Very, very nice. A sweet herbal tea, lots of orange peel. Let it sit for a bit. The acetone note disappears. And yeah, I have to say, I really do like it. I'm going to sip on this for the afternoon. It's raining. There's not much else to do. But I'm definitely going to start trying more and more bourbons, because I do quite like bourbons. I like the sweet, kind of candied sweetness to them. I like the rye that's in bourbon, so I might actually try some more bourbons with a bigger rye percentage in the mash bill. But yeah, I would recommend it. Definitely check it out if you want to get yourself a bourbon. It's reasonably priced. It's not overly expensive. It's 10 years old. Good bold flavours, not overly complex, but very, very nice. So that's it, guys. I'm going to get out of here now. Hopefully you've enjoyed my review of Eagle Rare. Comments and questions below. Let me know what you think of it. Have you tried it? Do you like it? Have you more facts about it? Educate me. Let me know in the comments below. I try to get back to everybody. So until the next whiskey review, Sláinte Macora. I shall see you then, guys. Take it easy. Yeah, very, very nice. Sweet, oaky, herbal tea. I'm bringing this with me. It's raining. I'm going to drink this for the evening. Take it easy.